All right, you guys. This is Joshua Kemble. This is my live stream number 218. This is a Saturday, and it is kind of a catch-up day for comics and getting caught up on all my personal projects and stuff like that. I'm guessing in our community, it's probably a catch-up day for everybody. I am back from lunch. I have sustenance. I am ready to finish working on the first panel for page 68 of Not Death But Love, the Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, which is the historical fiction graphic novel about Elizabeth Barrett Browning's journey into spiritualism and seances, as well as her relationship with Robert Browning, her husband. They were both really famous poets back in the Victorian era, and it's a really interesting untold story, and I'm really excited to be working on it. So earlier today, I started a stream. I was actually hanging out in the chats on Gary Hodges' channel this morning just to kind of chat with people while I was working on stuff I have to do off stream for page 68. And now I'm at a place where I can actually stream my work during the process. So I'm kind of excited about that because so far, I think a lot of people might think that my channel is becoming a Risk stream channel, which it partially is because I do enjoy playing Risk. And it is fun to provide that content for you guys. And also it's fun for me to kind of have the community in on it. But it's back to comics partially. Jim said, still animating, buddy. It's been a really great creative day. I hope yours is the same. I think it's a palpably creative day. There's an energy with our community. I think we're all hitting the pavement, getting our stuff done. And I'm excited about it. So I'm also excited about this stream because I've almost hit my self goal to be able to play a game of Risk. And so I'm going to go ahead and say this stream is going to be a cross between my comic stream and my Risk stream. I'm going to finish up the tones for panel 1. And then we're going to blast into a game of Risk. And that'll probably be this stream. I'm guessing I'm going to have on and off streams all day since it's Saturday. I hope you guys are having a creative day like Jim mentioned in the chats. I hope this helps you have some background during your creative day, either during the stream or after. And I really appreciate everybody who's subscribed and watches this channel. And also I appreciate everybody in our Artcasters community. So all that being said, I have 2 books out, Jacob's Apartment and 2 stories. I'll be playing probably promotions for those throughout, but just know those books are available. And if you want to support my channel, picking up either Jacob's Apartment or 2 stories, my 2 graphic novels that are out currently that I wrote and illustrated, both of which took me about 5 years to do. That would be great if you wanted to support in that way. If you have supported in that way, just sharing your opinions on it, maybe making a social media post here and there where you mention the book, because books are like anything, like TV shows and everything else in our entertainment age, where you can spend like half a decade on something and it can come out and just kind of fade away because no one talks about it. So benefit that you could do for me, a really big favor, would be just make a post in the next week where you say, hey, pick up Jacob's Apartment by this guy Joshua Kemble, or pick up 2 stories. And then the last thing I'll say before I kind of go into it is libraries. Speaking to your local libraries and asking them to carry Jacob's Apartment or 2 stories is great, because that allows people who may not have the budget to pick up the book to still access the book. And librarians are the dark secret of, well, not even so dark. They're the bright secret of comics and children's books. They're the lifeblood behind all books, honestly, and all literacy in this country. So I would love it to be a part of more libraries' collections. All right. That being said, let's get into working on comics. So like I said, this is going to be a comics and then Risk stream. So my goal on comics right now is to finish toning this panel and we'll get right into it here. Okay. So as usual, over here is what I'm working on my comic. Down here is just a little camera shot of me working on my Wacom. And you get a nice, wonderful view of both. I don't know why I even said that, but that was funny. And then my Risk cam is all set up for when I get to my break and I get to have a little bit of fun on Saturday. This is at least, I think, how most of our cartoonist mindsets work, where it's like, in order to have fun, I have to work. And then maybe I'll just allow myself to have a tiny bit of fun doing something non-art related. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get back into these tones. We got a little bit of progress this morning, and I appreciate everybody who showed up during that stream. And we're just chugging on. Oh, I should also mention, if you're watching this after the fact too, you can send super chats or super thanks. That's a good way to support these streams as well. And that'll do it. I'm going to rock the rest of this panel. And then we're going to get into a Risk game. A game of Risk, a world domination challenge. Okay, let's see here. So I want to finish toning this page. This was an interesting page. I want to add a little more contrast in it too, because it's becoming a little bit muddy. That's kind of my initial impression on this. So my light source that I'm kind of imagining for this is coming from the window, which is going to be on the left. And we're just kind of finishing up the tones that we started this morning. And it's not like crazy heavy work. I don't envision this taking longer than an hour. But people who are familiar with my stream might also know that there's been so many times where I've been like, and this will get done in about the next 10 minutes. And then 3 hours later, I'm still working on the same thing. So who knows? But I do envision this hopefully not taking too long, as I really do look forward to playing some Risk. For those of you who aren't familiar with my Risk thing as of late, I'll kind of fill you in. So I don't know what happened a couple months ago, but I got really fascinated. I think it had to do with Jim Lujan, who's in the chats, and Gary Hodges have a show called The Top 10, which, by the way, Jim, if you are in the chats, let me know. Are you guys going to do more Top 10s? Because I really enjoyed that show, and I kind of hope you guys do. I hope you do more. And I did revel at the possibility of being able to say the word doo-doo on stream in all seriousness. But yeah, I would be curious if you guys are gonna rock more, because that would be fun to see. Anyhow, they did a episode, I think with Chris Ward, who is awesome. We've had Chris Ward as a guest on Artcasters. He used to write for Wizard magazine, and he is literally like, of all the people we've interviewed, I think Chris Ward had me in tears laughing. I mean, he has just like a quick wit and a really keen ability to storytell. And it's kind of like the wise uncle kind of storytelling, where you can see the punchline lining up from like a mile away, and yet it's so enjoyable to watch him craft his storytelling. Anyhow, so they did one based on an episode of Top 5 based on games, game board games, and somebody and board games in general, not game board games. And somebody had brought up Risk, and I was just listening to it, and I was like, yeah, I used to really like Risk. Like, it was always hard to get, a group of people to play Risk, but I always enjoyed playing it. It was such an interesting game. It's kind of like a simulation of real-time war strategies, because you really do have to pay attention to politics. You have to pay attention to your number of troops. There's the board dynamic. You're kind of like, it's a very intense strategic challenge of a game, and I always enjoyed it. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to see if there's an app for that. And I kind of looked it up. I played Risk once. I got owned very quickly because it's been a long time since I played Risk. And the dynamics are a lot different than if you have like a couple buddies over from college or something to play this game. And I instantly got hooked because I was like, this is a really fun game and I'm not that good at it. And to me, if I have an interest in something, this is my own personality. If I get interested in something that I'm not that good at, but it maintains my interest, I get like really interested in it. Like I want to perfect it. I want to get really good at it. And this part one of the main reasons I don't play video games. I like if I play video games, I get like really into those video games, and it's like a huge time suck. But anyhow, so I played Risk, and then I started using it as like a little bit of a an incentive program almost for myself to get further on my comic, because I'm so deep in this project, this Not Death But Love book, that I'm like, it is, it's kind of that halfway point of a big project where you need to continue the race, but you almost start forgetting like what is the objective in general on this thing, because it's just so massive that it can be a little demoralizing. And I realized that like by just using a game of Risk as an incentive for myself, it was making me approach my pages with like a lot of fresh energy again, as if I was just starting the project, because now I have something to look forward to every time I finish a page or a panel or whatever it is that I've set out to do. I get a reward that I enjoy, and I get to have a little bit of fun. And then the neat thing is, I also started realizing the strategic thinking that it was exercising in my brain was really benefiting me at my work, was benefiting me in just kind of problem solving in general. And so I was like, you know what, this is something I actually want to do. And I hadn't brought it up on stream because at that time I was kind of taking a break from streaming in general. So I was just like quietly in my corner, kind of working on, getting pages done for Not Death But Love, like, rocking at my day job where I work as an art director, and then kind of improving my game on this game that like, and it was like the secret where I'm like, I didn't talk about it with anyone I knew. I think the only person who knew that, I was playing this game was my wife, and I'd tell her about it and kind of bore. I mean, she's very sweet and my wife is wonderful and awesome, but I don't think it was the most exciting thing for her to hear about, where I'm like, you won't believe this guy thought he could take Australia when it was being contested by two other people, and they're both going to kill each other there. It's the stupidest move I've ever seen. And I'd say stuff like that, and my wife would kindly kind of appease me because she knows it's something I'm interested in, but at the same time it's like that's kind of as far as the Risk thing went, and kind of my thinking behind it. But when I came back to streaming, I realized there's all these lulls of time where I'm not able to stream because I'm working on parts of my project that are just not shareable. And I was like, you know what? I could just do Risk because I like Risk. And part of what my method of like streaming, and it's, I'm not a very successful streamer, but it's like the way I've been doing this streaming since I started is basically anything that carries heavy interest for me, whether it's philosophy, if it's like politics, if it's music, like whatever it is that I'm interested in, I'm going to just be like 100% transparent about it on my channel and kind of make content out of it because it's fun. Like I'm not aiming for this thing to grow to be like a huge channel or anything like that. But one of the things that I one of the things I think that my stream can offer is just kind of a glimpse into creativity and a background for people who are being creative. And like, it's a way for me to kind of share, like, these are things I love. Right. And I feel like half of me doing comics is doing that. Like me doing graphic novels is because I love comics. I love graphic novels. I love the potential of what we can do in this medium. So like when I share about comics, I feel really confident sharing about it because even if I'm not great at it, like I'm trying to get great at it because I love it, right? So anyhow, that's a long-winded way of saying like I feel kind of the same way about Risk. Like I really enjoy the game. I really am like absurdly interested in becoming a grand master at it. Partially for the same reason that I'm interested in doing graphic novels. It's like this crazy challenge, and it's something that I think would just be really fun to be really good at. Um anyhow, oh, and then Ronnie Gunter from Crimson Owl Comics said, "Great to see you to see you go live again." Thanks, Ronnie. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to stay really consistent with this. So that's why I started doing Risk streams. Is like it provides you guys with some content. It most importantly something I'm fascinated with, and I'm excited to kind of go on that journey with people. Like I want to see if I can become a grandmaster. I may never get there, um, it's kind of like comics. Like, hey, it'd be fun to get an Eisner. I may never get there, but wouldn't it be cool to watch somebody on a journey trying to perfect something and do well at it? Because I think that's what we're all doing as artists. So that's a long-winded way of kind of explaining the Risk streams. But first and foremost, it's bringing fun into my workday, and it's also taking on a new challenge that's separate enough from illustration that it kind of resets my brain for when I'm gonna be drawing all day. And for people who are new to this channel or whatever, something to understand is I am a creative for a living. So like my day job is to clock in and be as creative as possible, right? And draw. And I'm not complaining about that. It's an awesome job. I love doing that for a living. The only downside, and I hear this from creatives who do it professionally all the time, is often you're using your creativity at work. And then by the time you clock out, the last thing you want to do is be creative. It feels almost like clocking into your job after you've clocked out. And so it's like, it can be a little wearing to work on your own personal stuff. By the way, Ronnie said his next episode of A Vengeful Heart is coming out soon on Tapas. I'm glad to hear it. Glad, Ronnie, that you're still kicking the projects and still moving the ball forward. That's really cool. Ronnie Gunter is really cool. He does a show called Comics de la Muerte, and which I totally mispronounced, but on YouTube, and it's basically a show that highlights like horror in comics, and I really encourage you guys to check it out. Not only because it's a good show, but because Ronnie is good people, and we want good people in comics and good people on YouTube. But anyhow, and also his co-host is really awesome and talented. So it's a really good show. Anyhow, so yeah, that's kind of the thing. I guess that's just a long-winded way of explaining why I've been doing these Risk streams, why I'm fascinated with it, and why I don't know. There's something about it that I think also is going to help my YouTube channel because again, I want to be streaming a lot, but I can't always stream the creative process. But because I play Risk about once a day just for fun, that's something I can post daily that provides content for people. And hopefully the more consistent content will also help grow my channel. And because I'm enthusiastic about it and I'm not bored with it, it's not like I did market research and was like, Risk is this very popular thing, I'm going to start doing a YouTube channel about it. On the contrary, I think I just kind of like, whether or not it's popular, it's just an interesting thing to me. And so it's something I can generate content about without it feeling like labor. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's a long-winded way of explaining something that I don't know if anyone actually asked me to explain. But just in case you were kind of curious, like, hey, why is Josh all of a sudden doing these Risk streams? Also, full disclosure, I've talked about this before on my channel, but I have a strong suspicion that I might like be slightly autistic. And I will also say that probably has a little bit to do with my interest in Risk too. Risk is a bunch of numbers attacking a bunch of numbers on a board. And to get good at it, it requires a lot of kind of obsessive repetition of the same game from multiple angles till you master it. And it's like that to me, that sounds like a comic book to me, you know? And that's one of the things that keeps me in comics. It's like comics, no matter how many times you do a comic, um, you just never perfect comics. And even if you stick to like a basic grid and you don't allow yourself to go outside of that basic grid, you're still never going to perfect it, right? Because there's just always something to improve on, always something to work on. It's like this. It's like the white whale that you're just chasing in your boat, like, and I don't know. To me, like it's fun to have another white whale to chase that's not necessarily art related. It's just fun. And I'm enjoying that a lot. So hopefully you guys enjoy those too. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense of it. I don't know if anyone was super confused about it, but I still think it's helpful to kind of explain why I'm going to be providing that content. And then also it's interesting to me, like one of the things I love watching on anyone's channel, be it Corey's channel, Scott's channel, Jim's channel, I really like seeing under the hood of somebody trying to achieve something, whatever it is. And to me, even if that achievement is a silly thing like Grandmaster in a game, that's a lot more interesting to me than like somebody being like, hey, let's look through my sketchbook. It's like, okay, that's cool. I like seeing people's sketchbooks, but like, I'd rather watch the journey, even if it is a sketchbook. I'd rather like when Jim shows his sketchbooks, I'm excited about that, but it's because the sketchbooks were a destination. They weren't just, it's not just a sketchbook. It's like, this is the planning ground that I use to make this giant, epically crazy, ambitious amount of cartoons that I put out. That's to me like that makes the sketchbook fun to look at because it's like you're seeing under the hood of this ambitious attempt at something that most people don't attempt. And I like that. I like that a lot. So I don't know. That's my little rambling and thoughts on it. I don't know. I think that I might have gotten a sneak peek from Ronnie on Facebook. So I'm going to peek at that once I'm kind of done toning this. I'm going to try to finish toning this panel first, and then we'll peek to see Ronnie, if you are sending me art, is it okay for me to show it to my audience? Give me a heads up in the chats because it would be fun to give them a little sneak peek at what you're working on. All right, so we are almost there. We are almost to Risk Land, guys. All I have to do now is the floor, and then I think I might add just a little bit more contrast to kind of help it be a little less gray. But I am pretty happy with how this is coming out. I also need to merge my border down so that I can select. I think I'll use the selection tool here. I thought I was going to use the selection tool. There we go. So we're going to use the selection tool to just kind of get the broader area of the ground. And luckily, I did most of this work on stream. I was planning on doing this all as one stream until I remembered last stream, which we had Frank Salazar on, which was fun. It was a fun conversation. But I was hoping to do all of this on the one stream. I had just forgotten the importance of eating food when you're working, because yeah, I mean, that's not super healthy to not eat. So anyhow, so I had a break to get lunch. And if anyone out there is disappointed that I had to break to get lunch, why do you want me to die? There's like someone out there who's like, I really just wanted to watch a live stream of somebody just starving to death. Anyhow, so okay, so we're gonna go ahead and darken this. I want to kind of do like a broader, I think even darkening the ground is going to kind of create a little more. This might actually do it for adding contrast. And we're just kind of having this beautiful objective of finishing up this panel and then playing a game of risque. Well, I don't know if it's a risque game of Risk, but it's definitely Risk. I think Ronnie. Okay, I can't wait to see what Ronnie sent. That's going to be fun to see. We just have to do the like carpet here, and then we're good to go. I just need to merge up my my shading tone panels. I don't know why lately too, but the shortcut for the brush tool keeps putting me to the marquee tool, which is very strange. I need to check my shortcut settings at some point, because I'm not quite sure, like, why would B take you to the marquee tool? That just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense, you guys. So here we go. We've got to kind of erase out the couch. Then we'll look to see what Ronnie sent. If he sent a little sneak preview for us to view of his upcoming Tapas comic updates. Sweet. We have finished the tones for panel 1. That was kind of a challenging panel too. And I want to just kind of merge all these shades into one solid thing. And I think that I'll go ahead and label this actually as shading. Lock it, save it. And then I'm going to check to see what Ronnie sent us. What did you send, Ronnie? So Ronnie, as long as you're cool with me sharing it, I will try to show this to people. Okay, so Ronnie did send a little sneak peek, I think, of a Vengeful Heart. So we'll go ahead and take a peek at that as long as Ronnie's good with that. He said you can show the art. That's awesome. Gary said, listening while I draw and disagreeing. I don't know why Gary has been disagreeing with like everything I've said all day, starting this morning on Gary Hodges' channel. You guys can see under the hood. Gary and I have had some very strong disagreements today. It's been very disagreeable. So yeah, that if you want to know what's behind that joke, watch Gary Hodges' stream from this morning on Gary Hodges' channel. It was, I would say, Gary, that was one of the funnier, and not just because of me. I feel like there was like a really fun, active chat on your stream this morning. Just in general, it just seemed like a very fun, like playful group of folks. Let's see here. So we're gonna do our. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to show your art here, and I'm fighting boomerism. Where I'm like, how do I show Ronnie's art? Okay, here it is. I don't know if boomerism is a word, but okay, we're gonna drag this in here. I'll put it above my line layer so you guys can see. Come on. Okay, it said do not dupe. Okay, whatever. Here we go. Look at that. That is a sneak peek of a Vengeful Heart. So that right there, here, I'll turn off my stuff. That is a Vengeful Heart, the sneak peek from Ronnie Gunter. It looks really cool, and I can't wait to see the new chapter on Tapas. And again, Ronnie Gunter on YouTube, Comics de la Muerte, and yeah, that was your exclusive. I'm just gonna say exclusive. I have no idea if it is actually exclusive, but I'm gonna call it exclusive to the Joshua Kemble live stream channel that Ronnie was sharing that. So thank you, Ronnie, for showing that. That looks awesome. I like the purples a lot. And he said, Gary said, I'm looking forward to the long-awaited next part of Vengeful Heart. Darn it, Gary, I have to agree with you. We're supposed to be disagreeing today, and I have to actually agree with that statement. There was a good conversation today and a really good active chat, yes. That I disagree with, Gary. Okay. What I'm going to do, so I have earned my risk game. I have earned it, you guys. Like, I worked really hard for this risk game. So I have finished the tomes on panel 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a trailer for one of my comics, and then we will come back. Yeah, I love it. That's true. That this is part of Gary's risk strategy, is he trapped me into agreeing. He lined up, he like guided my troops into a trap, and I had no idea. I was like, I'm going to disagree, and you're like, no, man, you're going to agree. I will use my master strategy to bring agreement in this situation. Gary's a danger. I'm just saying, especially on the risk board. I can tell he's going to be a heavy hitter. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a trailer from one of my comics. And I almost played this earlier. But I think I'll play it now. I think this is Christopher's trailer, Christopher Runsman. So I'm going to play this trailer. If you guys are watching and you'd like to have your site or your YouTube channel shouted out, all I ask is that you make a under a minute, preferably under a minute video. It can be about up to like a minute and a half, where you do a shout out for either Jacob's Apartment or Two Stories, or preferably both. And then you can mention your YouTube channel and your own work as well. And as long as it fits YouTube's TOS, I will play it on breaks on my channel. And so it's kind of a win-win cross promotion thing. So I'm more than happy if you guys wanted to make one of those to add it into the rotation for these breaks. And speaking of, here is a really quick one. I believe this is Christopher's.
Hi, my name's Chris and I like comics. I want to talk about this comic for a second here. I just got this in. I ordered it direct from my local comic shop through Diamond Distributing. It's Joshua Kemble's Jacob's Apartment. I really enjoyed this book. There's all kinds of comics out there, let's be honest. There's fun comics, there's superhero comics, there's young adult comics, there's adventure comics for kids. There's so many different things under the planet. But there's also an entire subgenre of alternative books. Real life, real world depictions in comic book form. Situations that happen to each and every one of us. And this is a fine example of that. If you get a chance, order this book from your local comic shop. You won't be disappointed. I can't sing its praises high enough. Okay? Check it out. Jacob's Apartment by Joshua Kemble.
All right, now it's risk time. We're going to play some risk. I'm going to walk you through my strategies as I'm doing them live. Right now, I am a master at risk. For all I know, I could lose that status in this very stream. If I lose to people who are like not masters themselves and they're under rank, I lose quite a lot of points. So the stakes are high. For as far as stakes on a silly game and app, go. But yeah, currently I'm FFA ranked master. I'm on the path to attempting to become a grandmaster, and we're going to play a quick round of Risk before I get into toning my next comic book panel. In reality, I might. And then we got Chris Caligula saying, "Hey, yo, Josh," and he said, "I'm trying to improve or to achieve home improvement skills." That is a skill worthy of improvement, Chris. And it's good to see you, buddy. Chris Caligula. Also, you guys should be subscribed to him on YouTube as well. Chris Caligula is a crazy talented illustrator and a good friend of mine from college. We went to art school together. And he is that guy you would sit next to and want to do better than on assignments. And quite often, no matter how hard you tried, you weren't going to get there because he's super talented. So check out Chris Caligula's stuff. Very inspiring, very creative. And he's also a guy who you should be following on Instagram. He does really cool fabrications as well, like costumes and all sorts of fun stuff. He's one of those people, everything he does is really creative. So there you go, Chris. I said really nice things about you. And if Gary says anything close to that, I totally disagree with him. That is my theme for the day. Gary and I have committed to being in disagreement all day. Okay. Now Gary's going to make me do bad strategies on Risk by being like, you should do this. And I'll be like, I'm forced to do it and agree with him if that's a good call. And then I'll just be like suiciding my way into Australia. Just anyhow. Okay. So here is my Risk thing, and we're going to find a game. So let's find a game, and then we're going to play it. And then that'll probably be it for this stream, but not for the day. So we'll probably play one game. And depending on how that goes, I think I'll probably take a quick break, maybe a little power nap, and then I'm going to hit the comics. And then Gary, did I trap Gary? He said, I cannot disagree in this single area of Chris K, but all prior and future disagreement stands. That was like, I read that as best as I could in the anime fight where the guy is like, how is he powering up with his levels that I cannot match? And then it just pans to like a shot of Gary just like, and me like, as we're powering up to explode each other in a giant mech fight. Okay, enough goofiness. Let's find a Risk game. You guys were playing serious now. It is time to play some Risk. Do I want to play with Blizzards? Blizzards can be fun, but I like playing standard if I can. 4-player games available. Here's one. Hard, fixed, everything I like. And yeah, I think we're going to join this one and see if more people join. So right now it looks like there's somebody called Llama Force or Ilma Force, Creepy Quagga, Jordan the Snooty, that's me. And we'll see if we get more players. Right now it seems like this may not fill up though, so I might have to leave this lobby and find a better game. This is the most boring part of the Risk streams, is just waiting for the thing to fill up. General Skulls and General Diallo are a little sus. They're definitely probably new players because they have that number attached at the end. That's good to know. So orange and green, if I can, I want to kind of steer clear of them a little bit because I'll probably make chaotic choices. It might also be alt accounts for the other players, so we'll see. Waiting for host, and we're in a game. All right, guys. And again, these are not pre-scripted or pre-recorded, so if I fail at this, you get to watch a live fail, which, again, it's a win-win situation for the viewers. If you're a seasoned Risk player and I misstep, you can make fun of it. I'm first position, so I got to stop talking and focus for a second. I have to in this position. It's so contested. It is so contested, but I think I have to make a fair play towards North America. That's just the only way to do this. So we're going to go ahead and move our 5 in, or our 5 in. And that's my turn. Now, the problem is that yellow 4 might not be happy that I just blocked their way into Asia, because that 4 probably wants to unite with their troops. So if I have time and I'm able, depending if it clears out, it is so crowded and condensed in North America, though. I could have made a play for South America, move my 5 down. That's the other option. So let's see what blue does. How about an alliance? I'm all about alliances, man. How about an alliance with everybody? I'm just going to make an alliance. We're all friends, right? Okay. So blue, I missed what they did because I was busy doing alliance accepting. I'm usually pretty observant. I think whatever blue just did kind of pissed off red, though. Can you guys fill me in the chats? Gary said, yep, North America is your best option. I reluctantly agree again. So red is not happy with blue. That's good. You want people mad at each other at this point in the game. You want people making enemies that are not you. These newer players, though, is this one of the ones? General Skulls. Like, I'm a little concerned they're going to do something erratic because I think they're a new player or they're an alt account. Let's see how they play. If they're smart, they like blue, I don't know what the hell they're thinking. They don't have a really great claim. If they're trying to take Europe, they don't have a good claim on it. But like that move's a little weird. So I think green is stuck doing a no continent game, or they're making the play for Australia. If you guys watch my streams, you'll see why I hate Australia. Because now we've got a 5, a 7, and a 6 all crowded in the area in contention for Australia. And some of them are going to just like zero each other out in this quest for Australia. That's not good news. I think I need to move my 5 because I don't think they want North America. I think they want to move that 10 down to South America. But that wasn't a bad way for them to notify me. I'll give Orange a little bit of credit. Although Orange is one of the numbered players. So again, they could be really erratic. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But I think Orange wants South America, and I think I want to give it to them. Because again, this early in the game, you don't want to be the person who's saying I need to attack your territory. Yeah, Gary's right. I live Australia, but it's something I want. It's not something I want to kill my game to get. Yeah, I love Australia. Who doesn't like Australia? If you can competently get Australia, like even on Gary's stream, the game that got me master status, I was able to take Australia at the very beginning very solidly. But unfortunately, like most of the time, especially with these newer online players, somebody will have a clear claim in Australia and then everyone else will literally like suicide themselves. I'm letting 10 through. Now 10's a newer player, so if they're a bad player, they just go up and hit my 11 and then like we're both out of the game. Hopefully they're not a bad player. They gave me a thumbs up, so I'm going to send them a heart. Just like, hey, we're friends, guys. We're friends. At this point in the game, you need to be friends. Now, I agree with Gary from his stream this morning. He had kind of mentioned, like, you can't just be friends the entire game. Your goal is to kill each other. See, blue, I can tell, is not, like, they're a new player. Like, what are you going to accomplish with your 5 right there? And it sucks because I'm kind of surrounded with these new players. Like, what is blue wanting to do? Are you going to move to South America? You don't see the 10 working their way down to South America? Like, what does that accomplish? If you're going to play a no continent game, what you want to do is start stacking your troops. But, like, why did you add a bunch of troops That can you guys figure out Blue's game? I can't figure out their strategy. I think maybe they want to be spread out so when they get cards, they can kind of sneak attack someone. Or they're trying to block orange. Maybe they're trying to block orange because they want orange to move their 3. But again, it's just I don't see a strategic choice. And maybe I'm blind to it, but I just don't see a strategic reason for what Blue is doing. So green is still angling for England. I'm kind of glad I chose North America because everybody's contesting territory at this point. I was worried North America would be too contested, but it just doesn't seem to be the case. Now let's see if orange is a bad player. I mean, don't get me wrong. Their bad playing could cost me the game, but it'll cost them the game. If they put that 13 into my 11, game over for both of us. Good. Orange isn't that bad. They're keeping friendly. They're keeping our alliances. They're taking South America a little early if they hit that 3. Oh, no, they're not. They're not bad players. They also left their border at a 1 so as to make it very clear to me, hey, I'm not going to hit you yet. Now, of course, they're going to hit me when it's advantageous for them. Everybody in this game is going to hit each other. But again, orange is showing a lot of sophistication. I'm actually very impressed by their gameplay. But I agree with Gary on Australia. Like, if you can secure Australia, it is one of the best territories to have at this point in the game. Mid-game, you want to be out of Australia, or you want to be so dominant in Australia that there is no stopping you. End game, you want to get the hell out of Australia and forget Australia. Very end game, even if you've built yourself up in Australia, if you try to hold Australia, you can often lose the game. Red is interesting. They're not playing bad either. So I have some contenders at this table, which is kind of interesting. Yellow, like, maybe I need to let yellow out. I'm going to let yellow out and see how bad they are. And I might be on the path to a no continent game, guys. But that's okay. I like leaving that option open. If yellow's bad, they move their 4 like to Africa, and then they move their other 4 to Kamchatka, and then they move their 12 into my territory as like a direct confrontation this early in the game. That would be the move that would take us both out of the game, but it's a move that I could see a newer player making, so I can't rule it out in this game. Blue is, yeah. Blue is in dire straits here because blue is just continually contesting territory that's not his business to contest. Like, if I'm blue, I want to get away from green. Give green England, commit to a no continent game, or move on to a different territory. But this kind of halfway committed. Yeah, blue's probably first taken out of this game. They also just quit the game. You'll see this a lot with new players. They make really bad choices and then they can't even stick through the game to like see the consequences of their choices. Blue knows they're bad at this game because they literally just rage quit. So who's moving now? Green. Green and blue are in a battle to the death. They're not in a good spot either. So whichever one of them gets cards first is going to win this little standoff. Let's see how bad yellow is. Do they move out? Or do they fortify that 12 up to block me? Okay, yellow's not bad. Yellow's in a really strong position. potentially might take Australia. If they take Australia, well, it depends. If they have the card turn in, then they take Australia, then they're in a really good spot. Orange securely has both an ally in North America, and they're prepped for a battle on Africa. They're in a really good position. I wanted to highlight that because a lot of people might see the way that Orange played that as weak, especially early players. And Orange has played this extremely professionally. I don't like that Green is such a bad player in contention for Green and Blue. They're both like vendetta players. They both have a beef with each other. See if I do have the card cash in, guys, on my next turn. That's good. I'm questioning whether it's worthwhile to take North America at this point in the game. We have a lot of people who haven't cashed in their cards. It's delayed so long for me to take it that I don't think I fully take it. I think I take part of it. If I take it fully, I become a target and everybody's got their card turn-ins. Red is in a bad spot because of their kind of stubbornness about Australia. So I think what I do is I want to take Green out of the equation. Do I just hit their 3? Maybe I do this. I'm going to clear everything but Green. I think I'll have 5s here, or 6s. I like that. I'm not going to break. Actually, I am just going to break them, but I don't want to fully take the territory yet. I also don't want to threaten my neighbor, so I'm going to move my 13. I'm going to keep it at like a, what do they accrue each turn? I think I'll leave that as a 7. It's a little vulnerable. They have cards to cash in, but I'm not doing a major threatening move there. I probably might have just wanted to leave that at 1. I might get hit because of that choice to leave the 7. Because at this point, Orange might be thinking like, wait a minute, dude, we're supposed to be homies. And now you have troops on my border. Can Green cash in their cards? If Green has a cash in, there's a possibility that they suicide themselves. I mean, metaphorically, like not intentionally, by cashing it in and cleaning out Blue, because they're in a position to completely annihilate Blue if they have a cash in. They don't. They can still clear out Blue pretty significantly, but the cost of their troops to do it, I don't think they're going to do that unless they're the worst player in the world. Them keeping their 3 there makes me think maybe they are a bad player. This is a fun game so far, though. I haven't seen any like exceptionally bad players. I don't know what Yellow's objective is. I think they want Australia. I think they want to do the long game, the vulture play. Right now, my homie, my best friend, Orange, is going to start to take Africa, which is a really good play. Again, best play if you're South America. Have exterior troops that can, like, you need an exterior position like in Asia where you're kind of collecting your cards there, or you need to actively pick which enemy you're going to fight. If you get in a 2-front battle too early on as South America, you've lost the game. So South America being cool with me allows them to get in a battle with Africa, who are going to suicide themselves on them now. Still the best play that Orange could make, because imagine if they were in a 2-front battle. Now, Orange is probably going to lose the game, but still, Orange hasn't played it badly. They just unfortunately, attacked somebody who doesn't really know the game too well. And I've had that happen a million times. Do I clear that 3 yet? Do I just eat my ally? Can I eat my ally? They have 8. How many cards? I think I need to eat my ally. If I don't get to finish them, though, this is a problem. 7 to 5, I can still do it. Sorry, Orange. You have 4 cards. I want those cards. Now I'm a target at the table, guys. People are going to start coming at me. But I had no option but to eat that. Like, how could I not eat that card? I could have probably gone further, actually, and eaten... So that green 10 is going to go into my territory. No question. So I want to at least prep myself for that. Also, people do have card cash-ins, but that was just too good of an opportunity to turn down. That was like a live meal just sitting there. How could I not eat that meal? It's like if you're a lion just kind of sitting there and, yeah. Who's bought it out? Yellow bought it out for a little bit there. Yellow's in a pretty strong position. I think green hits me. Maybe not. Green still wants... I'm loving green and blue's kind of weird conflict here. They just really... They're blindsided by their love of country. Like, they really want... They want vengeance. They want Europe. And they're willing to lose the game for it. I love it. So yellow's next. If yellow's smart, they're going to take that 18 and slam it into me because I have too much power right now. They also have a card cash in, so maybe they cash in on that 1 in Kamchatka and then slam my 6. That's what I would do if I were yellow, because yellow's not... It doesn't seem like a bad player. Yellow also could try to eat all of green and take them out of the game, but then they have to go through that 5 that's reds. They could also just aim to like really just clean it out and take out red and then green and then blue. Like, they have the potential to kind of win this game, actually. I don't know if they see that potential, and that is a really tough task, especially if they don't have a card turn in. If they have a card turn in, I think if I have a card turn in, especially if it's 10 cards, I'm going to buffer up that 18. I'm going to split it, send 1/2 into Australia, maybe even more than a half, because you at least potentially have blues cards there. Yeah, they're not going to do it, but they are going to break my territory. So that's not a bad move on their part. I'm keeping my eye on the ball, though, and I think they bought it out of the game. Blue has definitely bought it out of the game. They aren't even going for blues cards. They have this tasty meal there, and they're just ignoring it. So they're giving blues cards to red. Red is going to get those 5 cards. Red is my biggest threat here in this game. But I'm definitely in winning position pretty soon. But what does red do? Does red finally take Australia? I think red bought it out of the game too, so they may not take that beautiful, tasty morsel that is sitting right next to them. I don't think they do. They're just going to hit my 3, which is ridiculous. There it is. Take the morsel. Oh my gosh. Someone out there loves me. Like, someone out there loves me a lot. So I'm going to clean out red. I'll take those 2 cards. That's not really what I was after, but I'll take them. And then I'm going to clean out blue. I'll take those 5 cards. That's what I was after. Sure, I'll buffer that up a little bit. I definitely want to bring this up. Okay, let's take out green, get his 5 cards. This game is definitely mine. I kind of am shocked that they let me keep South America. That was a little weird. But this is a very good game. This went as swimmingly as it could. I have so many cash-ins right now. There's just no way they win this game. So we're going to go ahead and dominate the board. I'm so glad. This was like literally as good as a game can go in Risk. I'm guessing I wasn't playing with very seasoned players. The way some of them were playing, though, particularly my ally below me, I don't think they're all beginner. I don't think they're all total beginners at this game. I forgot to say good game. So there we go. We dominated the board. Let's see what the status of everybody in there was. I got some points, which is cool. That'll up my ranking, which is good. Let's see who we beat. So blue was a novice. Let's see. Green was a beginner, which means they're a little above novice. Yellow, who I told you guys wasn't playing super bad. They were kind of playing no continent. They spread themselves out too much. But them hanging out in Asia and just accruing a lot of territory so they could silently accrue cards wasn't a bad play. Orange was a novice. Orange was my friend, I think, in South America. And honestly, if Orange wasn't playing the game bad, they just had a really stupid neighbor who pretty much lost the game for both of them. And then you got Red, who was a beginner. So it wasn't like a crazy experienced game. I was surprised for beginners and novices. I don't feel like they were all playing super bad. The biggest detriment in this game was the 2 players where one of them wouldn't just give and allow the others to have Europe. And the fact that they both just stayed there contesting Europe kept the rest of the board away from balancing out and allowed me to take advantage and basically just dominate the game very quickly. If one of them had given the other Europe, whichever one it be, even if you're the stronger power, if I'm in that situation they were in Europe, I try to just get out of Europe because like you're not winning anything by killing each other early in the game. All you're doing is basically like giving the win to somebody else. And again, like I always think of this when I'm playing Risk. What is my objective? Do I want to win the game or do I just want to win this one battle? If my objective is just to like, hey, Green's been messing with me this whole game, I'm going to prove a point, then cool, do that. But is that why you're playing Risk or do you actually want to like win the game? If you're playing to win the game and you're in that scenario where it's a standoff, sometimes the best bet is just to like step back, make peace, and remember, and then come back and screw them over 4 turns later because everybody, including the Grandmasters, have a really long memory with Risk. So again, it's like you're not letting them get away with it. You're just being the bigger guy, stepping out of the bar, and then you're going to run into them on the street later and mess them up. It's just like maybe that one bar fight isn't the best time to fight them. That's all. All right, guys, that was a really swimmingly easy game of Risk. I am going to go take a break and probably I might rest or something like that. And then I will be back to streaming and probably work on the next shading of panels. I think what I'll do is keep using this as an incentive. So when I finish shading, I don't know, the next 2 panels, then I'm going to be allowed to play Risk. I really appreciate everybody who watches this channel. I hope you like the Risk streams. I hope you like the comic streams, and I will see you on the next one. Also, special thanks to Gary for having an equal kind of interest in Risk. To me, it feels like we're compadres. Not to break our disagreement arc. I still disagree with you, Gary, but I like that you have an appreciation for the game of Risk. And I think we're going to have a fun one with all the art casters. All right, that'll do it. I'm going to close that out. And then we'll look at that beautiful status of master, which is good. And I will see you guys on the next stream. Bye.